To further bring out the other aspects of the issue, I now introduce the next speaker of this session, Mr. Sunil Tolani. Can we have the PPT, please? Mr. Sunil Tolani is a BE Electrical from VJTI Mumbai and postgraduate in Business Management from IIM Bangalore. He has 19 years of career with HUL and handled various roles including sales and distribution, brand management, operations, and as a business head across various kinds of businesses in exports. Since 2010, he is working with Idea Cellular Limited as COO MPN Chhattisgarh. I invite you, sir, to enlighten us. Sir, please.
Hi, good afternoon. Okay, and to the guys and the girls out there, hi. Yeah, I know. Okay, so I have two enviable tasks. One is to, speak after such a power-packed presentation of all speakers. And the second is, I am coming between you and lunch. Okay? So I have to hold you back. So let me, Professor Singh has been kind enough to, give me 20 minutes to try and, hold you back. So let me try and do that quickly. First of all, thank you for having me here. It's amazing to see and be a part of what I call a leadership moment, because, something like this organized by the students of Acropolis, by Chairman Sujatia and Professor Singh is amazing, and the staff and faculty of Acropolis is really, really amazing, and it's a privilege to be here. So thank you very much for having me here, sirs. And thank you, students, for, making this possible. Now, as I was listening to Sudeep and Neeraj and Mrs. Chandok, I was thinking that by coming here, I have also actually met a second purpose. You see, it so happens that between my wife and I, we are shareholders of Wipro, TCS, and L&T. And I was really, really contemplating hard after the results have come out as to what I was supposed to do with those shares. After listening to all of you, I feel very reassured. Okay? So we're going to hold those shares. Yeah, please make sure that I'm not poorer. Yeah? Okay. So, now, I always start my presentations by thanking people who have ensured that I'm here and I can share and learn. And I have actually two gurus. One is, of course, my father, who is no more, but who was a businessman who really, really taught me how to live and how to, generate leadership moments, as I call them. And the second is a guru in absentia, somebody whom I learned to admire when I joined Hindustan Unilever from B school, and that's Karsan Bhai Patel. Okay, I think he really, really taught us in HUL when I was a part of that great organization as to how to, be humble. And he also taught us and taught me personally how to have a point of view. So with Karsan Bhai, it was not that I had the privilege of learning from him, but his photograph always used to be there, and it was more like an Eklavya relationship. One kept following what he did and ensuring that one didn't make the same mistakes that we made in HUL as an organization when Nirma, literally made us dance. Okay, so that's something that and of course, I would like to thank my colleague Anirudh and my colleague Akhilesh, who helped me put this presentation together, channelize my thoughts. I'm not very good at putting pictures and things like this in PowerPoint. Being from Generation X, so that's something I'm still learning. So thank you very much for helping me out. So can I have the first slide, please? Okay. So I thought everybody here would speak about what they are doing, to build Generation Next leaders. Most of my colleagues from HR and esteemed colleagues from HR would do that. What I thought is that I would give you a different perspective. I would give you a perspective of what are we building for. We all talk about building Generation Next leaders, but are we clear on what are we building for? Okay. And what I have put here is a distillation of something that I've read, a lot of reading that I have done over the last 18, 20 years of my work experience, and even when I was a student. And a lot of it has been validated by empirical experiences, personal and those of my friends and other colleagues in the industry. So what I'm really trying to put here and trying to share with you is something of over 20 years of reading and empirical experiences that I've had. So let's come to the 5 forces that, in my view, and in the view of some of the esteemed authors that I've had the privilege of reading, are really shaping our future and really shaping generation next. The first force is really technology. And let me give you an example of how technology is, shaping the generation. My HR colleague was inducting the latest batch. Okay. Yeah, I would be more comfortable doing that. Yeah, being from sales, it's very difficult to stay on this, really, and feel overdressed for the occasion. Yeah, but thank you. Okay, so this is better. Thank you. Can you hear me at that? Is it on? Okay. So, hello? Yeah, okay. Let me try this way. Okay, so, when he was sending them the messages, he was trying to tell them when to come, the logistics part. So he made a very nice SMS, thinking that he has to welcome this generation Z or generation Y that's coming to the organization. He sent them a nice SMS, very nice, saying, dear so-and-so, welcome to Idea Cellular, and this is your logistics arrangement, and you'll be landing in Indore, and this is how you'll be picked up. And on the first day, these are the people you'll be meeting, right? And he sends them these 2 SMSs, and what is the response that he gets at 12 o'clock in the night from most of the people, right? He gets a response saying, your body. Okay? So the SMS response is your body. Now, I go back to my generation, and I think that, this is the generation that it's a very free generation. It's a generation that's very freewheeling. It's a generation that's very confident. It's a generation that's very sure of itself. And the kind of management techniques and talents that you need, the kind of leadership skills that you need is completely different, right? Going back 10 years earlier in the industrial era, you would send an equally different response. But this is what it is, and this is what we need to now develop leadership for, and this is how we have to, learn to manage and bring new leaders to the fore. So that's point number 1. This is a generation that's completely hyper-connected, and this is the generation that's going to experiment, and this is a generation that's going to take risks for the new technology. It's going to take risks with technology. Let me give you an example. During my travel as a sales guy in Gujarat, I heard a lot about this guy. Have you heard of this guy called Prajapati Mansukh? Have any of you heard of him? Prajapati Mansukh in Gujarat? Okay, Prajapati Mansukh is the guy who invented Mitti Cool. Okay, he's the guy who invented a refrigerator for the common man, for which costs and which sells for 2,000 rupees in Gujarat. Okay. And guess where he got the idea from? He got the idea when there was an earthquake in Gujarat, and there was a caption in a newspaper which showed that a clay pot had broken, and the newspaper said, poor man's refrigerator breaks or is broken. He got this idea to develop, Mitti-cooled refrigerators from clay. And if you now see him, he's rated as one of the most rural entrepreneurs, right, by the Forbes magazine. Now this is the kind of talent that is coming into India, and this is the kind of talent that we as leaders and you as leaders need to understand and lead. Let's come to the next point. Increasing globalization. The second force that's shaping our future is increasing globalization. I have migrated from Mumbai to Indore, right, because of this great organization of which I am now a part, Idea Cellular. It's giving me immense opportunity to express my creativity on a much larger canvas. It's a 2,000 crore plus organization. As I joke with my team, that if this organization was listed in ET 500, it would probably have a rank of between 270 and 280 today, right? So I'm here. I've migrated from Mumbai to Indore, right? And I'm completely energized. And the last 2 years of my experience with Idea Cellular has been complete fun, right? You see people migrating from rural Madhya Pradesh to urban areas, right? When I visit rural Madhya Pradesh, you will be amazed. I see rural youth texting. I see them blogging. I see them visiting Facebook. It's amazing, right? And that's what's happening. So
going, right? So there is extraordinary talent, and also there is going to be extraordinary isolation. It's not only going to be talent, but it's also going to be isolation, because this generation, because the new future that's going to come, right, is going to be one where we are going to be spending a lot of time with devices. We're going to be like spending a lot of time socially engaging, technically on the network. So not only are we talking about people who are going to be extraordinarily talented, we're also talking about people who are extraordinarily isolated. Okay. The next force, right, and you can come on to the next slide. That's really
our future, and I don't remember the sequence, but it'll all be there, right? Is really the force of societal shifts. Okay, what's happening, and you guys can correlate it with your own examples. That the society is really shifting. There are good parts to it, and then there are dark sides to it, right? The dark side is that there is declining happiness, right? People are as the want trajectory is going up, as we are getting more and more of what we want, right? The trajectory of happiness is going down. Okay, so that's one part that we have to grapple with, and this is what we have to build leaders for, right? The second thing is the changing roles of the man and the woman. Okay, I have people, and including myself, I want to go and spend time with my daughter as a father, right? I want to stop earning wealth. I want to stop working and then take out time and go and spend time with my daughter. I have my colleagues, right? Guys like Anirudh who just gave birth to to twins, right? He wants to go and spend time with his family. Okay, and on the other hand, I have women in my company and in my circle who are now wanting to assert themselves and become very powerful. And we all have various examples, whether it's Indra Nioi or Mrs. Kocher. These are all very, so you have this changing role of the man and the woman, and that's also happening. And that's also what we have, changing demographics. Right? We all know that lifespans are increasing in India. Previously, people used to live till 40, 42. Today, the average lifespan is 70, right? And therefore, what's going to happen for all of you when you go into the workforce? You will have to create more work. My HR colleagues here will need to manage and need to build for this scenario. All of you will need to manage this scenario. At the same time, people are going to be more productive till 70. Right? We had organizations earlier like the Tatas, where people used to retire at 70. Then they brought down the retirement age to 65. But the increasing lifespan is making sure that people will stay productive longer. So one has to grapple with that scenario as well. One has to create work which is productive, and at the same time, there'll be people who will live longer but will be unproductive because they have retired early or because they have different strengths. So we have to grapple with both these things when you become a leader, right? We are also therefore going to have the new poor. These are people who are going to live longer but who do not have work. Now, as a leader, you can't say that that's not my problem. Let me give you an example. In Hindustan Unilever, we make soap. We used to make soap, right? The company still makes soap. And to make soap, we used to use a lot of palm oil. And the palm oil used to be imported from Malaysia. Okay? Now, you've all heard of Greenpeace, right? Now, there was a huge activism because Greenpeace realized that a lot of deforestation of palm oil forests are happening for the sake of using palm oil in soap. And the Unilever group had to give a commitment to the Greenpeace group, right, and to its shareholders that it would create a system by which it would become palm oil neutral, which means as much depletion as happens, or it would create, artificial palm oil or made up palm oil forests so that palm oil can be extracted from there, or it would go into afforestation. But it had to give a commitment that it would, roll out this principle of sustainability. So that's also what's happening. Okay? So you have, on the other hand, people who are moving, all this youth here, all of us here, are moving from being impassioned consumers. Right? So far we have been consumers, everything we want to consume. Right? Now, we have to be also an impassioned producer. Right? We have to give back to the society as a leader what we take from the society. You can't afford to say that that's not my problem. These are the changes that are